All right. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, it'll be a mix of people from the usual folks I get to the made an announcement on my NRHS chapter, so we'll see how many of the folks manage to figure it out and show up. But anyway, welcome to a somewhat ad hoc live stream editing slash something session. This one's going to be covering Paoli, a bunch of photos I took of Paoli Tower on in March of 2004. Now, I thought that I had done the typical thing of either forgetting to um, process these back in the day, or I did a bad job. It turns out that I actually processed them back in 2010, and I did an okay job. But I think I can do a little bit better, and it's going to be a mix of things I'm going to process and things I'm just going to rename. Because these photos on my legendary 3 megapixel digital camera are honestly at a resolution. They're only about they start out at about the size that I try to get things to today, and I'm just reducing there's no need to reduce the resolution for interior photos of something as interesting as an interlocking tower where details matter. So what I'm going to do is hopefully make this go a little faster than normal. So it's going to be a mix of editing some things, and then for the rest of it, just trying to rename them and stay current. So I have everything set up, but I've already gotten off on the wrong thing. So for those who don't know, Paoli Tower, Paoli is at is what was considered the end of the traditional PR main line. It is almost exactly 20 miles from Philadelphia. There's Philadelphia. Paoli's right there. Thanks to some things with SEPTA, they have moved the main line has been extended to Malvern. I guess people there wanted to be part of the main line, so they lobbied to get the yard moved, and then Malvern gets to be part of the main line. But originally, the yard, I'll sort of zoom in where it is. Here you go there. Getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Paoli was not only a place where you had the interlocking, so trains could turn back. It was also where you had the MU yard. It was built in 1915 as PR's first AC electrification project. The MU yard is no longer there because 7 decades of PCB contamination caused a major pollution issue, and it is currently still being cleaned up. It also, because the railroad was built at the apex of a drainage divide, it managed to seriously pollute 2 watersheds. So there you go. Paoli interlocking itself is actually composed of an east end and a west end. So you can see how long Paoli interlocking is. The east end basically allows trains on the express tracks to access what used to be side platforms. The west end is a full track crossover and what used to hook into the yard. The yard had a tail track for reversing and a somewhat weird duck under that allowed MU trains to pull out of the yard without having to block mainline traffic. Paoli Station was rebuilt in the 1950s. I think it's either Paoli or Ardmore was rebuilt because the Saunders, the PR president, lived nearby, and he proceeded to never take a train into Philly, opting instead for a limo. It's also known as an Amtrak station, and the platforms were long enough to handle the long distance premier type of trains, long distance trains that would eventually head out, like the Broadway and other limiteds. So I'm just going to start with the photos, and we'll probably see everything. But I just want to give everybody a context of what's going on. Today, Paoli Tower is on the process to being closed as the interlocking is reconfigured. We'll see what money PennDOT comes up with, but they've already ripped through the center tracks out to replace the side platforms with an island. And they also demolished many of the original buildings, including one of the last segments left of the 1890 structure. I'm not sure that got preserved or not, but But there's also some transit-oriented development, as you can see, going on. So anyway, Paoli for a while was known for what's the name of that street? Valley Road Bridge, which is used as a signal bridge which was used by the PR it's both a road and a signal bridge, as you can see here. This is so it's a just another thing of the layout. There's your west end. Here's your east end, and we'll go in when I get into the tower. Explain how it all went together. But there's Valley Road. So this is your 12L and your 14L signals. Yeah. And like I said, I have reasonable copies and reasonable naming on all of this, so that's going to make this a little easier for me to deal with it. Like I said, because they've removed the two center tracks, both these signals all of the signals on that bridge have been replaced, so these are no longer there. Here we have, the track, whatchamacallit, track 3 signal, I think, or track 2. So the PR main line between Philly and Paoli was 4 tracks. Only track 3 was bidirectional. So in the west direction, you would see 3 high signals into an interlocking. I guess in the east direction you see 3, west direction you see 2. This is what did they do here? Hold on. Yeah, sorry. This is your track 3 signal, and then the track 2 is a reverse direction dwarf, but they mounted it on this on the Valley Road bridge again, which is again it's a dwarf signal mounted on a signal bridge, but because PR dwarf signals are defined by their size and shape, and not by where they actually are, you can get away with that. Just a cute little thing there. Oops. So this is I actually got it was interesting. So I got an invite to come out to Paoli Tower on this day. I'm not sure why specifically this day, but the day also happened to be the opening day of the New Jersey Transit, what became the River Line. So I actually read in the opening. I was on either the first run or one of the first runs of the River Line. Went all the way out to Trenton and back, and then caught Pat go across to Philly, and then an R5 out to Paoli to do the day in the tower. So I'm sure I could go back and figure out what day of the week it was, but it was either a Saturday or a Sunday. It was a weekend for sure. And here you can see the whole valley. This whole Valley Road bridge is going to be replaced by something newer and wider. But you can just see how the PR was using it as a signal bridge. Probably pretty much from the 1920s onward. So again, walking over from the station, here's the rear of Paoli Tower. Paoli Tower is a brick and wood affair, very similar to Bryn Mawr and other towers like Cly. It was a standard PR design in the late 1890s, about around 1890, 1895, somewhere in there. I always forget. I have it on my. I could probably look it up. I had the date when it was built somewhere in here. 1896. That's right. A lot of the stuff was done in around 1896. The whole main line was sort of rebuilt. But as we get into it, there's some neat nuggets inside that I'll get into in a second. So here we have the rear of Paoli with a SEPTA train passing by. And of course, head in the look. The door is already open for me. Isn't that great? So, if you're wondering what I'm doing, like I said, I discovered that I had these already semi-processed back in the day, so I'm just using the exact same names. And the reason I'm using those names is because I need to actually rebuild. I have 2 blog posts on Paoli, and all the photos are broken because I didn't realize that I had these kind of done already. So I'm going to have to go and sort of process these down, and once I get these done, I'll be able to go and fix those 2 blog pages. So anyone who knows my blog, there's 2 things on Paoli Tower, and they should hopefully be fixed by Tuesday. No later than Tuesday. Stairwell going in. All right. A lot of people... somewhere someone said, oh, the PR likes external staircases. Like, no, the PR likes internal staircases. They had the money for that. I'm pretty confident that they'll save the tower. I'm not worried that it's going to get knocked down. That's a pretty preservation-oriented area out there. All right, I'm just going to stop here. So I've done this first batch, and the rest of this batch is going to be, I mean, not the rest of it, but the next set is going to be stuff from the inside. And I'm gonna probably save these in their full resolution, or maybe I don't know. That just basically means renaming them. So Paoli, because again, a lot of this stuff I've already done. Paoli has one of the, I mean, not that I'm an aficionado, but it has one of the nicest the nicest model board I have ever seen. I don't know if it was restored or if they just did a really good job at taking care of it. But when you're there, especially in person, it looks like it's just been painted brand new. And I mean, it's not like someone's gone. This is original font. It has one thing that you can tell that it's not. It was not altered. Paoli had double slip switches, the 1517 and the 1719 right there. Those were removed at some point in the 40s or 50s, and they were regraded into standard turnouts. So the fact that this, this was not just redone from scratch at any point. This is not to scale, so here we have the west end, like I told you, which is typically a 4-track, mostly full crossover, and over here we have the east end. East end allows, trains westbound expresses to go from track 3 to track 4, eastbound whatever's platforming trains, stopping trains to go from track 1 to track 2 express. Those are pretty used pretty heavily. You also have this random 27 switch, which is rarely ever used. But I assume that was used for trains coming out of the yard, making sort of the wrong platform, a wrong stop, and then heading out to go maybe for a deadhead run or something. I'm not quite sure on that one. But that switch is always there in Rusty. So anyway, I'm just gonna for this stuff. This is where I just sort of a note. Typically, operators, they just leave these East End switches on a weekend where there wasn't any express service, especially today there's more express. But they would just leave these signals displayed. That 22, that green light means it's displayed. And those jewels were absolutely brilliant. You can tell it looks like there's an LED behind that, but there's not. If you go out to Harris Tower, they have some original ones there that look as good as this. This is just another side. Other things on here, you have the release timers, short or long release. This is the machine, I think, was originally something mechanical. In the 1930s, they rolled in here and totally replaced it. So instead of having an Overbrook or a North Philadelphia style tower, where you had every signal had its own individual timer, in Paoli, they use banked timers that you'd see on a later style Model 4T machine. We'll show you that. You got your low air alarm. Oops, no, I don't want to save this. I just want to rename it. There it goes. Other things that aren't there today. This is where there was 3 yard leads. You had this yard lead, which has been ripped out, and the switch is removed. That's the yard. This one is there, but it was cut, and you'll see that. I'll get into that later. I think they were thinking of using that to pull loads out. 9 switch. This was the duck under. In 2004, it was still there. It has also been removed. You also have 2 maintenance of waste stubs, and also between Paoli and Glendale, the main line is 2-track. Currently, it may or may not be ABS 251. I think they put in bi-directional actually to Fraser, but it's unofficial. And this used to be there was actually a 3rd sort of layover track in there, so trains you had 1, 2, 3 in a pocket. Today the pocket's there, 3 tracks gone, 2 tracks a stub, and there used to be one little crossover with a protecting 2R signal way down there. See right there? That signal's there, but it doesn't protect anything. So trains come in reverse direction from Fraser. You have to pull up that little 2R, then they hit the 10R, and then they can cross over. Just little fun quirks about all this. Again, I could try rotate. I could take this through the ringer and rotate it and stuff, but I'm not going to really bother. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. Here we have the Bryn Mawr machine. Bryn Mawr tower looks clone of Paoli, built in 1896. Caught fire in 1994. 2 years short of retirement. And they had to go and do an emergency re-signaling job. But because the railroad was paper dispatch, they put a panel type CTC machine or remote machine in Paoli. This gave Paoli sole discretion over the bidirectional line between Paoli and Bryn Mawr. Used to be Bryn Mawr was only open 2 shifts a day, or maybe 1 shift a day, and it was closed at all other times. So if it was closed, like on a weekend, you had no ability to do any sort of crossing over between Paoli and Philly. So I guess it's sort of worthwhile that it happened. But anyway, here's your Bryn Mawr board. Hold on. There we go. And yeah, it just makes me wonder if I should do a little bit of processing or whatevering on these. Like maybe I should or shouldn't. Yeah, I'll put this into things. So 15 and 16. I'll probably do stuff with these. Hold on. So, sorry about this. 1 second. See, now I learned how to use the perspective correction tool. It distorts it a little bit, but at the same point, it doesn't give you that sort of weirdo. I took this at an angle look. I'll sharpen it, and I'll call it a day. Perfect. And here we have just a view out of the tower. Paoli, like many other towers, does suffer from tower window syndrome. It used to have beautiful, like high-level drop shaft pane windows. And of course, at some point, Amtrak just came in and gave it the business. Everything's a cheap replacement that doesn't open with a dirty, nasty screen in front of it. So that's why this view doesn't look very good. Thorn has the same problem. They all do. Pretty much, maybe not Bryn Mawr, but I'm not sure. If I get to an external view of the view of it, you'll see what the problem is. And again, This used to be a double slip right there, and then another one right there, and they sort of got rid of it. And the other neat thing you can see here, again, a lot of when they redid this in the 30s, they came in with some bucks. Because the little dwarf signals are all on concrete bases, the valves for the pneumatic switches are all on little concrete islands. They put a lot of money into it at the time. All right. What's next? Got him. All right, this guy. This is, as far as I can tell, this is sort of this is like the comm area. And you can see the interior, zoom in here. So you can see how big the windows used to be. And they boarded up the top half and put it in a replacement window. This looks like it's old radio equipment, but I'm not sure. It didn't look like any of this was in service. And behind it, you had other old phone equipment and maybe some stuff. I don't know who that plush monkey is, but it was taking up one of the chairs. So I'm going to just leave this full size and leave it unaltered, and just rename. I don't think I need to. I don't think there's any really enhancements I can do for that. Here we have the Model 14 interlocking machine. This was this is a later model compared to the one in Overbrook, which is an early model. There's the old power. There's a lot of neat stuff in here, so we'll get all into it soon enough. The question is, do I need to straighten it out at all? Yeah, see, I did a little bit of processing back in the day, but we'll see. I might throw that in here. Which one is this? 18. Yeah, I don't like it. So it's sort of whatevered. Yeah, the Model 14 machines are longer or deeper than you think they are. There we go. That looks good. Perfect. Yeah, I'll leave it like this, and I'm just gonna save it as a large version. Oops, that's not the one I want. This is the one I want. Yep, I'll just keep this. So again, here we have the front of the machine. It is a 31 lever. Most of them are still in service. So at the time, at the time in 2004, most of them, the levers were still in service. And there was a lot of rusty rail cans over almost everything. That's just a reminder. It's not really something that's supposed to get in your way. Oops, nope. Keep forgetting to just rename it. There we go. Here we have another view, a non-flash view of the Bryn Mawr board. I'm definitely going to pull this one in for a modification. Nice 1960s vintage clock, 1960s vintage lamps, like fluorescent lamps. My granddad had one of those in his basement. With the little red light, like the red button and the black button. I want to get that clock in there, but it's making this. I got to make this square. Can I make this square? Not really. All right, there we go. Just another quick thing on the Bryn Mawr board. Each of these, there's your switches, normal, reverse, easy enough. These toggles, you move one way and you push, I believe. It's not NX. You twist and push. One direction to twist will fleet. The other direction will simply clear. Not all the signals can be fleeted. The ones with three, 1, 2, 3. See those three little lamps? The third is for a fleet. These little ones there are for your blocking devices. If you need to take any track segment here out of service, you pop that up. That applies a block for that route. Bryn Mawr has one pocket track, not two like Overbrook. That means that trains can be hidden on the station platform, and a passing train can be jumped around it. That's a legacy of when this was when freight was on the center two tracks, and they would frequently have to run express passenger trains on the outside tracks and use these pockets to jump around the locals. This is one of the only Bryn Mawr is one of the only locations on Amtrak on the NEC where you have dual control switches, at least the Southern and NEC and Harrisburg line. Okay, that looks good. Hit it with that. Cool. 1 second. Yep, we're good. Next. Paoli had has two panel blocking devices. One of them was east, one of them was west. Panel blocking devices were an optional extra that the PR would spring for that provided a degree of safety to prevent operators from lining either routes against the current of traffic, or to allow, if there's maintenance of way or something, allow them to block all possible routes displayed along current of traffic. The way you work is you twist these little knobs and it'll either block all traffic or not block all traffic, depending on like what function you're actually trying to get out of it. I have a really cool photo, probably the only one you're ever going to see, and I'm so glad I have it, from Cork Tower, of a blocking device in use. So to run a train against current traffic, the track is being held out of service. See, this is hold westward, and then to run them to reverse, you just flap that little thing to allow movement westward. So again, they didn't interlock with like any other tower or anything. It was simply to prevent the operator from doing something stupid. And here we have Paoli's blocking devices facing east towards Philadelphia. Except for track 3, which is bidirectional, you don't need a blocking device because the traffic lever number 31 was the thing that would provide blocking on that. And by the way, before Bryn Mawr burned down, the way traffic levers worked were like submarine missile launches. The operators in each adjacent tower would have to set the traffic lever in the same direction to actually to establish traffic on that line segment. So they both had to turn their keys. After the Bryn Mawr fire, Overbrook and Paoli gained exclusive control over that stretch of track. I don't even know why I have this up. There we go. I keep showing it. This is the East End blocking device. There's your little March calendar there. I'll just should probably it's not sure. You can see everything that needs to be in here. This is where your interlocking horns are. I don't know what all this stuff is for. I think they were for they might have been for catenary plates. It used to be 3 tracks up through the 19 somethings. Then Penn Central Amtrak removed one of them. That's when freight sort of fell off a cliff. These are cool. Yeah, I'm going to need to adjust this one. Number 23. Oops. That's the wrong thing. Here we go. This is a this is one of the defect detectors, and I'm not sure which it is. Okay, if that didn't work, I need to do I'll do another perspective jobber on it. Whoops, damn it. I don't know any of these being used anymore. This is probably the dragging equipment detector west of the interlocking. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Does that say anything useful? Yeah, it's the patent markings. Anyway, Servo Corporation, Hicksville, New York. These are really neat. This is a a tower readout defect detector, not a radio one like we have today or one of those other automated ones. It said on the thing there, track 1. So wait, hold on, this will probably tell me what it is. Yeah, this is hotbox detector, track 1 readout. The hotbox detector was located. There it is, track 1 west. So if they got a hotbox readout, it was about 2 blocks away from the tower, which would allow the tower to pull the signal and stop the train and contact them. Some of the stuff would read out, and depending on where the trains were going, some of the things read out in Thorn, some of the things read out in Paoli. So here we have a hotbox detector around Fraser. Combined with a dragger. There's a dragger on 4 heading towards Thorn Tower. That one registers in Thorn itself. When you had a hotbox detector, the graph paper would actually read out the temperature readings of every axle that goes by. And if it was connected to a dragging equipment detector, that would register as like a single line. It would be. I'll see if I can. Do it out or show it to you on one of my other photos. Next. Oh, here we have these. I don't even know if I need to do stuff with these. Yeah, probably. So again, these are just close-ups of the lever. So that knob down there is the thing that handles. Instead of having one, there's a timer. There's actually a glass globe timer underneath this whole thing, underneath the sheet metal, and that little knob will trigger the timer, do the timer actions. This one's for signals 2 to 8. And I'm just going to keep this one as is. Next, here we have levers numbers 8 to 16. And you can see all these cans. They call these the blocking devices or cans. These are just for the rusty rail. Because tracks 2 and 3 through the Paoli station were completely unused and sort of rusty. Now maybe I should clean these up actually. There's 24. Oops. Yeah. How many of these do I have? 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a couple things I actually want to talk about here. In addition to just sort of cleaning this up. And I did not use a flash on these. You can see it's sort of washed out. So I'm going to try to fix that up a little bit. There we go. But I'm not going to resize. I'm going to leave these full resolution. So anyway, because those tracks, which you could get. There's so many rusty tracks. Almost all the switches had rusty rail reminders, because any switch that could lead to a rusty track had to, or a route with a rusty track had to have a thing. And rusty rail just means because a train or something might not shunt, it might not hit the track circuit. That just meant if you're lining a route over a rusty track, you had to look out. It was actually to look out the window or do whatever to double check there was nothing there. For this specific switch 13, which is the one that leads on to I'll show it to you later, which leads on to nothing. If you had a rusty blocker and then a second block for don't throw the switch to derail train, then this is how you would apply a second blocking device. You'd hook it into the little rocker there. So here we have an example. Again, these are things you tend to see on tower photos and whatnot of two blocking devices applied to a single lever. Yeah, I sort of overprocessed these back in the day. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. Here it is. Yeah. This is a better me doing a better job. 8 to 16. Here we have some number of 20s. And again, you can see the sectional timers down there. This one's like 22 to 28. Of course, even ones are signals, odd ones are switches. Typically, rusty rail is what gets you block up on switches. But I think you can block up on almost anything for anything. It all depends on what logically will remind you or block out a route. It's usually some combination of signals and switches. And then here we have the last batch. You can see how almost all this machine was utilized. A lot of these, especially by the 90s, would have, or by today, 2000s, whatever, would have a lot of spare empty spaces. This is a really neat bit of kit here. This is the Paoli power board. I have an annotated version of this picture is on Wikipedia to this day. That actually someone was really awesome enough to go through this on the full res thing and indicate what all of this did. So this part of the power board here is your 1915 portion. When they had the 44 kV distribution system, there's a lot of it's blanked off. Section switches. This is the old stuff right here. That's for track heaters. These are section switches for the catenary. And then finally, this is the 1930 when they came in and put in a new substation for the 1930s. That's what this section is. And here, this red is the 138 kV distribution. This is all still there today. The 44 with kV was retired. All of this was controlled from C-Tech in Philly. Even though the Harrisburg still had a power dispatch office, at this time, everything from Thorndale to Philly was controlled out of Philly. So here's the red thing where you have this is the 138 kV, and here's where you have your two transformers are right there, and then here we have the 12 kV bus right here. And there's a couple extra things like this breaker here is something that would feed the other part of the old 44 kV part of the substation there. 4 sections for each of the 4 tracks. Each coming out of each substation transformer, you also had a bus breaker. So yeah, PRR did almost all of its circuit breaking from the 12 kV side. So if you had a problem in the to this day, if you have a problem in the 138 kV side, you have to unload about a third of Amtrak's system, isolate with section switches, with non-breaker switches, and then you can reload everything. Oops. Amtrak bulletin board here. I love how not only do you have the pointless arrow, you have Conrail bullet, you have a thing for Conrail. Philly division, which at this time did not exist anymore. um, yeah, it's a wonderful thing in time here. Um, I'm sure if I zoom in enough, I could probably get it. No, I know the date. It's March 14th, 2004. So yeah, this one's just gonna get saved. Next, bathroom, new toilet, but everything else looks pretty original, and the sink is outside the bathroom. Surprisingly, it's nice that they actually in 1896 would have given. I assume that this is the original. You know, did this have indoor plumbing in 1896? It's pretty ritzy for a railroad worker. Here's a cool thing we have. This is the back of the model board. I don't know if I had to pull this off or if it was off or what. Just shows, you can see this at Harris or whatever, but this isn't like one of the all metal ones too. It's all sort of fiberboard. And this just shows you all the it's like the wiring you'd see on like someone's HO model. And there's there are two announcement bells. They did sound slightly different. So when a train would enter Paoli's control section, they call it tapping on, and one of these bells would ring depending on which direction it was coming from. Next, just another close up. Oh, I think I put the camera down on the table just to sort of get a timed shot here of the model board. Again, I'm just gonna rename because this is perfectly fine. Don't need to make any changes. Here we have examples of these are the St. David's detectors on track 3 and 4. So if I went to this diagram here, and then, oops, not the wrong one. I went to C4. These I think are still there. There are two Devon. A hot box dragging equipment detector for westbound trains at Devon. And this is the servograph readout for those. So I have two pictures here. One flashed and one not flash. And you can see this is where you have each one of those little lines is an axle. So as the train is passing, you'll hear this start to go like, and then when it's done, the dragger is that thick line right there at the end. So something long like an Amtrak train is going to have more stuff. The dragger just means it's just registering that there was. I think if the line is long enough, it triggers on the dragger or something. But it's all pretty neat. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything I can really do with this. Just probably just want to keep it at full res, but I don't know. I might improve. Oops. Might improve this one. Oops, wrong one. I killed it. Here we go. What? Get out of full screen. 34, 35. All right, I'll pull them in. I think I need to improve 31 of these. I mean, I just want to put a little extra light in this one here. Alright, and this one. I'm just going to rename this. This doesn't need any alteration. I'm going to kill that out. Just hit that. There we go. And then looking out the opposite end. So let me just check this. Huh. I don't even think I saved that. That's strange. Weird. I don't know what these are. There's a radio thing, but I don't know what this track 1, track 2 little lamp things are. It's authentic, but I just don't know what the heck it is. Which is probably why I didn't label it. Okay. And now we're going to get into me just doing my normal thing again. I'm mainly doing the full resolution for stuff inside the tower. So what do I have left? Where do I need to start? 38. There it goes. All right, I'm going to pause here and see if... Oh, damn it. I'm going to pause here, see if anyone has any questions. Sort of a halftime thing. I'm almost about halfway done here, so let's see what people... I haven't been paying attention. Any questions? No, I by the time I was at Paoli, the yard was long gone. That yard was ripped out to 1994. I might have had an opportunity to pass it by on an Amtrak trip I took as a kid to Pittsburgh, but I was never in a position to ever get out to the yard when it was still open. All right. That's strange. That's really strange. It's like I'm missing photos. Oh, there's the... I guess I did some of these out of order. Anyway, this is the one I'm looking for. Oh, this is way over processed. I don't know what I'm doing with that. So again, here's some. Let's see what we have. First, this is that 13 switch. First, milepost 20 is there. There's that 13 switch, leading off to Nowheresville. That's basically emergency derail train switch. Sometimes you need to do that. I think that they left that line in because they were going to be doing soil removal for the PCBs, and at some point they just cut it. Here we have the duck under track that would come back and under. It was, again, left for maintenance away purposes. Today, that's been removed. Also came with a little, whatchamacallit. One of the major things that I regret not doing on this trip is if I had gone out today, I would have, I only had 90-something pictures I could take that day, especially since I filled up my other memory card with the river line. But if I was out there today, I would have likely taken about 700 photos of all the switch machines. For anyone who isn't aware of popular trends, virtual reality type of stuff is becoming more and more doable. So I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to use all these sort of nitpicky photos I take of interlockings to just sort of throw them into some sort of device and make a virtual space people can sort of hang out in. It doesn't have to be even now or 50 years from now. I'm sure the technology will get there. Here you have that superstructure. That's the 1930s substation. This concrete building is the 1915 substation. That the 1915 whole distribution system was done away with in the 1960s. So just for anyone who has looking for a point of view, there's your tower, 13 switch, 11 switch to 5, 3, and then the number 2 track. And here on the thing. There's 1 track, 2 track, the fill out track. There would have been an old track 3 that's not there anymore. There's track 4. 11 switch, 15 switch, 13 switch, 9 switch, 5 switch, 3 switch. I feel like I have this. No, I had this picture before, but it was less zoom. So I'm gonna try to get some brighten this up, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. There's not much I can do because of the screen. There it is. And here we can see what Amtrak did a little bit of rehab on the station, new platform and stuff. But now it's this track here. You can see how rusty it is. That's been removed. And there's a new island platform in the middle. A little short-sighted if you don't mind me saying, because now they've created a permanent 2-track bottleneck here. Now, when they remove this bridge, hopefully when they replace that bridge, they'll leave space for an extra track. I think that platform is still there, so in theory they could bash in a 3rd track through that right of way. So I really hope if they build that bridge, they can leave space for a 3rd track. At some point, they're going to need that. They're going to need to expand capacity running out to Thorndale. Schuylkill Expressway is an absolute bottleneck and a disaster. I was going out there to take pictures at Villanova the other day, about on December 29th, and I checked it leaving South Jersey. Schuylkill Expressway was completely clear. I get across the Ben Franklin Bridge, check again, and it was a complete traffic. It was a complete. Everything was jammed up. There was some accident that happened, of course. And the last time I'd been on the Schuylkill, coming back from Reading, another an accident had happened, and I had to divert onto the local roads. And the local roads don't go anywhere. It's terrible. People wonder why SEPTA has riders, because if it's so slow, and it's because there's no alternatives in a lot of the Philadelphia area. The roads don't go anywhere. They're in South Jersey. You get used to roads going directly because it's so flat. Roads just go where you need them to go. You want to go to a specific town from another town, they just build a road. Half our roads are like X town road. But in Philly, everything's sort of like this, it's like a square where you tilt it at an angle, so you have to go like 45 degrees in a zigzag pattern to go between point A and point B. It's all 2-lane roads with no shoulders. It's just terrible. So here we have just this neat little picture of the Hill Track Dwarf. I think it's called the Hill Track. Let me check. Yes, Hill Track. This is the 10RB signal, and right behind it's the 10RA. Every so often, US&S, to save logic and wiring and stuff, you'd have 2 signals, mutually exclusive signals would be wired off the same lever. The Union switch and signal, here it is. Union switch and signal interlocking machines were much more efficient than the GRS pistol grip style in terms of levers. You could wire a lot more onto a lot fewer levers using the US&S system. I just love how you got the signal governing cut track. We'll get back to that signal, trust me. One of the other things that was very nice, I didn't have a cell phone at this time, but my friend would give me his cell phone, and he sent me out on this on a weekend. You only had you had fewer keystones than you did today, and the SEPTA service was like hourly or something. So he'd send me out there with his phone, because he didn't know if certain signals he had routes that you just never had to pull up. So he would go and try to pull up a route, and I would take a picture of whatever it was displaying at the time. So in this specific case, we have the we have the 10RA signal. Is this? I don't think this is actually. No, this isn't restricting. This is slow approach. I just labeled this. Pretty sure this is. Is this restricting or is this? No, this is slow approach. Yeah, the backwards one is the restricting. The little tiny guy. So I mislabeled that photo all those years ago. So I'll have to fix that. And another thing, again, despite the the ancient things, Amtrak was coming in and putting in refurbished point machines. Here we have our pneumatic point machines. Beautiful, looks just great. Brand new housing for it, brand new airlines, brand new box. Looks super. This is part of the 11 switch, which actually has two of these to move the single blade. So that means it's going to be a number 20 turnout, but it's not going to get you a limited speed signal. It's just going to give you the same old medium clear, but they made it a number 20 just in case. For those of you who don't know, the higher the number, the longer the switch. So a number 10 is a slow speed, a number 15 is a medium, a number 20 is going to be a limited, and as you get up, like number 37.5 is like 80 mile an hour. The Amtrak Zoo Paoli transmission line project appears to be dead. I don't have any official thing, but I knew that was going nowhere. The residents in the main line have been blocking any sort of 138 kV transmission line since the PRR days. Amtrak, and because this isn't even an Amtrak decision. Harrisburg line is very, very... Amtrak owns it, but it's still very PennDOT centric. And if PennDOT puts their... if people are going to complain to Harrisburg, and PennDOT can put their foot down in a variety of ways, and then the project does not happen. So, as I thought, they announced that thing 10 years ago. And I'm sure that the local residents just... quietly, someone there, it didn't even have to get to the protest stage. Someone with enough clout got in and just said nope, and it just went away. And I'm glad for that, because I do not want to see that 1915 catenary disturbed. It is beautiful. It's there's nothing wrong with it, and last thing I want to see is Amtrak come in there and rip it down or kill it. So here we have the substation. Look, oh my God. What the heck was I thinking? Those are original breakers. Oh, I didn't see them. I could have just rolled over and gotten inside. There's no locks. I could have just opened them up and damn. Wow. Now I'm depressed. See, I didn't know what I was missing. Now, I don't think those are 1915 breakers. Those are 1930s breakers. There are a couple left around Thorndale, but that would have been a real treat to just sort of wander over there and look inside those breakers. I'm almost positive that those are gone. They've not been sitting there for the last 15 years. Yeah, they're gone. What do we have here in front? So there's your typical Amtrak substation. It's going to have two. I showed you in the other thing, two main transformers, etc. And here we have section breakers attached to the 1915 unit. If I can come in here from the overhead, yeah, all the breakers have been swapped out. You can see that sort of the gray sheet steel. Those are all replaced. and I'm sure that the transformers, there's one, there's two. There are original transformers out at Parksburg and Thorndale still, and I got pictures of them this past summer. I'm going to try to get a little more resolution here. Oh man, this happens to me so much where we'll all see something in a picture and it was like, it was right there, and I didn't think to go look at it. Got to jump in my TARDIS and go back in time. All right, let's see what we got. There we go. Number 3 switch. All these had seen at least a bit of paint, if not a complete refurbishment. And this is the 3 switch leads to the fill out track, which was, both this two stub and fill out. There's your 9. That's your old duck under track. Were used for a lot of mainly maintenance away. They'd stick maintenance away stuff up there. Here we have Paoli, at least on the west end, had 2 air compressors. The other one is up close to the platform. Usually these, what I would expect these to be in the tower, but for whatever thing, they're out now. Note this old school riveted air compression cylinder. Not a welded or drawn air tank. This guy's been riveted and sealed up with who knows what's in there. Yeah, and by this point, those Amtrak in 2000, around this time, got some, or 2003 or something, got a bunch of money to replace a lot of its transformers. So that one there has already been replaced. You can see the air lines coming out to feed the valve units for the switches. And here we have the derail on the fill-out track. That's one of the reasons they like using it for maintenance away, because it has a derail. So I don't know if there's any issues with, normally I'm not sure they need a derail, but they have one. And this was said, I think, was used in the original layout. There was track 3. There was a second track, and I think track 4 was a little over to the north, so you could have the track 3, and this could be used as a pocket track for doing relays for the MUs. They had a lot more, they had a pretty intense service, I think, back in the day. So not only did you have the duck under, you had this turnout, and you could have stuff directly come out of the yard. So you could just totally feed train after train down toward Philly in the peak period back in the day. that's that set. Hold on. Okay, 53. And this should finish it out. So, no, wait, I have a bonus set. That's right. And actually, oops. See if anybody has any more additional questions. It's called the fill-out track on the diagram. I remember once people on a message board bitched at me for referring to the track as the duck under. They're like, that's not a word. And I pull up the official I mean, I even have the 1930 interlocking chart. It's like, nope, it is called the duck under track. That one right there, I said, is literally called the fill-out track. You know, it's a fill-out track versus the fill-out track. In this case, it is the fill-out track. I'm assuming this is, again, my friend, we got a signal displayed up there. Don't quite know which one it is, but I'm almost positive that's going to be another slow approach. And you can see Paoli Tower all the way sort of down there. What I'm going to really do with this, I guess I'll just keep it like this. I would call this displayed. So again, this is another signal that he'd pull up for me. Here we have the two eastbound signals. Again, track 2 is ripped out, but it's still a stub, so the stub track has a full PL mast for it. Also note the original style lower heads. The PRR, always wanting to save a buck, determined that trains approaching a restricting or slow approach, I think, whatever that horizontal, that slash there. Actually, that would only be used for slow approach. It would all be going at slow speed, so they didn't need backing because the trains are going slow enough. Whereas the medium speed in the middle route would, the trains would be, if you're going 30 miles an hour, you did need the backing. If you're wondering what about medium approach wasn't used until 1956. Trains would diverge. You'd diverge over an approach. You go approach medium to an approach, and you diverge over the approach. Long Island Railroad still does it that way, incidentally. It's the 4R and the 6R signals. You can't quite see it, but I'm going to try to enhance. This is the 6R displaying clear, and we're going to have some real fun with this. Maybe. Nah, I think we are. So I'm going to see if I can increase the brightness there. There we go. A little more. There we go. That looks better. So there we have the... I did this sort of... Oh, see, I have all these other photos. But they're not in my set of photos. I'll have to look into this. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not seeing. So that's not good. It's not going to show up in the whatever. Um, eh. Why wasn't it in the I pulled out a master set of these, but it looks like some of the stuff wasn't present, or yeah, this is strange. Yeah, I'll have to go back and looks like I might be missing some photos that should be here. But I don't necessarily have them with me right now, so I'll have to go make like a supplementary set. I might have pulled out stuff that was like superfluous. So like I'm missing like yeah, this one's missing, this one's missing, that's missing, that's missing. And that one, I don't know about the rest. I think just a couple. So don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about them. they're not necessarily super critical. But anyway, yeah, I did sort of a cut and paste hack job on the lamps there to make them look better. But I'm just gonna go with some more subtle enhancement there. Yeah, I'll keep it like this. Yeah, kind of a gray day, and I just wasn't able to get a lot of good zoom on it. Now, more fun with displayed signals. Here we have, normally, yeah, getting a clear signal on the 6R, that's everyday stuff. Here, we now have a display. I'm getting a displayed signal on the 4R. Yeah, this would probably be good enough. Brighten that up. Get some color in there. Not great, but I have the modified versions. I can always go and do some more renaming. Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna fake it, I might as well just, like, what's the point? Yeah, wait, hold on. If I resize this, I'm already over 100%. So okay, this is better. Sharpen, and there we go. So again, he got a displayed signal there on the 4R. But it's going to go even more crazy. Here we have he pulled up some stuff on the west end, so now we have two clear signals here on the signal bridge. You can't really see them. I was sort of being undermined by soft backlighting. But if I enhance, you can start to see it. Enhance. Let's see what else we got. I think I got and our last trip to Crazy Town. I think he canceled one of the signals at the east end, so now I'm getting a slow approach here on 6R. we go. All sorts of fun. Oops, don't need to sharpen twice. Huh. Oh, there's that. Did I fake one? Did I totally fake one? Yeah, I think I faked a, why did I do that? Or again, that could be another missing picture. I need to go look into that. I don't know where all these missing photos went. Oh, there it is. Never mind. There's the medium clear. And one more. So I got the slow approach. When you have an east end of the interlocking and a west end of the interlocking, with a very short signal, what the PRR would generally consider to be a short signal distance. If trains approach, if you have a stop at the second signal, the PR is usually gonna give you that slow approach. They did that at Overbrook or other places, or Bryn Mawr. We have the pocket tracks. No, I'm not actually sure. No, I think here it might be long enough for you to get that full approach. Because if they would only give you the slow approach, the top signal wouldn't let you have approach. So that slow approach was probably for a diverging to, might have been a diverge to stop, or I don't know what route he pulled that up on. Could have been anything. I didn't write down what route he pulled up. But here we have, this was going to be just your straight up track 1 to track 2 crossover. Again, something you cannot see anymore today. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get great pictures on these random routes. How straight can I make these? Pretty straight. That's pretty straight. Yeah, it's weird I'm missing stuff, but I'm sure I can dig it out. Here we have the extra sort of 5 switch thing. Oh, how do I even get this? I see what I was doing. I was trying to get pictures of those air hoses, but I created a Dutch angle and I can't get rid of it. Ugh. When you have 2 A5s like this, I believe they only need 1 CP valve. You can see the valve is over by the air compressor you saw in the other picture. So here we have the air lines coming out, and they both would feed ends of the pistons. Yeah, see, one of them is the normal, is one direction of the piston, the other one acts in the other direction of the piston. Good enough. some of that red. Just showing the tower, and this is the from the platform, your 19 switch and the 20L dwarf. For any who don't know, PR used two kinds of dwarfs. One of them has the back that all comes up. An earlier version has little tiny plates to service the bulbs, one there and one there. They also are opposite of the way you think that they should go. Let me show you. See, this is the one they use today. It's sort of right-handed. It sways this way, whereas the sort of the 1930 ones, it sways the other way. This gives you a restricting slash, makes it bigger than your approach slow slash, which I think that they discovered was suboptimal. So they changed at some point, but there's a number of interlockings that still have the original ones. There's some around Penn Station and some other places. Up here we have the that 20L dwarf. You can just see how the differences in it. How did I do this? See, more missing pictures. I think anything that I know why they're missing. Wait, no, I don't know why they're missing from my set of masters. And here we go. And just a view of the tower. So, a couple things worthy of note on the tower's exterior. One's got a tin roof. Looks okay. Two, tower window syndrome. You can see the original lines for the how the windows used to be and what they are. Not looking good. There was a derailment that broke into part of the relay room. That's why there's a patch job on the front. And at some point, the bay window rotted off. And that's why there's, again, a piece of plywood over it. It's pretty sorry looking. It could look worse. But it is now in its 124th year of operation. Probably one of the older towers that are still in service, if not possibly the oldest. I have to look that up. Could this be the oldest interlocking tower currently in service in North America? And I wouldn't be surprised if the answer was yes. Yeah, it can't be anything older on New York City subway. Maybe something in Chicago. No, the 16th Street's 1902. So yeah, I highly suspect that this is the oldest operational tower left in the country, although the machine is not original. There we go. Yeah, this goes a lot quicker when I don't have to write out all the names or research the names or do anything with names. And it's not a huge deal that some of the photos are missing. I'm mainly trying to get the tower, some of the tower pictures, updated, so they can go on that North American blah 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 webpage. And we just have one. Let me just check to see if there are questions here. Hello, everyone. I don't know why it's called the fill out track. Well, because I said it was located. It wasn't a main track. It was a pocket. So I mean, maybe there was a gap. You know, it sort of filled out, I guess, space between track 3 and track 2 and track 3. If you want to see the original diagram, I can go pull that. Hold on. Now here's the original 1930s diagram. You know, this is doubles. That's where the double slip were, but not by this. This is like 1962, I guess. There's your duck under track, and it doesn't say fill out on this diagram. It says fill out on the Amtrak thing. So I don't know what, why that says that on the Amtrak. But there's your track 3 and how that sort of worked. It was a double-ended MU pocket, so you could have something roll in and then come back out. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. That's how it worked. That's weird. At least in the 60s, that track was where it was, but track 4, what the heck? Track 4, from the 10R, they connected these two. Yeah, that's interesting how they did that. Yeah, so there's been a bunch of remanufacturing stuff. Anyway, what am I up to here? Okay, I got one more bonus set, and that should be it. Sorry this is taking a while, but this should go pretty quick. I'm not even going to do a lot of these. Actually, I should do almost none of these. Oops. That was a mistake. Sorry. Here we go. Yep, I'm just going to rename. Just another view of the model board. So these are from someone else, but I use them to fill out the stuff. Just this is the west end. You can just see at some point, when this was redone, it only had 3 tracks to the west. So someone did retouch this. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the whole history of it. So some of it was blanked out, but not sure how this sort of worked. But it's just excellent. Looks lovely. Here we have one with just a slightly different flash. So normally, these towers would have, typically when you have a Model 14, the model board is suspended or whatever. But because this was the tower sort of being upgraded, there had to have been a mechanical machine in here. It's just sort of how electromechanical, mechanical. Although Bryn Mawr did have an electric, but this is clearly way past 1898. The Bryn Mawr Tower has an original model. It looks like this, but it's wood and glass and has the same sort of levers, but it was about 40 years older in technology. Here we have the hotbox detector from track 1. There it goes. It's like, what am I doing here? Here's the one that you find on Wikipedia. I was wrong. My picture wasn't good enough. Oh, come on. Where is that? I don't... Got missing photos the other way. But this is a beautiful example of the power board. Oops. Cancel. Paoli power board. Maybe I thought it was... I'm just going to say it's flash. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so this is the one that someone annotated for me because it's a nicer thing. It's way clearer. These pictures were taken in it's listed as 2000 and oh no, it's not 2002. That's just that's because the date on the digital camera wasn't set. But I didn't take these. I think my friend did. And we have bathroom and cleaning supplies. Towers always seem to have a lot of cleaning supplies. Here we have, this is not my friend, this is another operator who was there. So you can see you have the Bryn Mawr board is right there in front, machines behind, the two servograph dragging equipment things. Those I'm sure the ones in Thorndale have been taken out of service, so I assume that these probably also have been. Love your bare bulb hanging there. I guess I didn't do much with this. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna deal with you. Dump. There you go. This is dark enough that I'm going to try to hit the see if I can brighten this up a little bit. So this is the panel blocker, but just a worse photo of it. Guess I can sharpen that. Yeah. One of the neat things is you can read the notes on stuff. For example, what does it say? Set the train, blah 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 blah, to operate number 1 track to Paoli from Bryn Mawr C-Tech. I'm surprised they don't have banana stickers on that thing. Okey-doke. Oh yeah, this is like my good copy. This is my good flash copy of the Bryn Mawr machine. So I'm just gonna save this as is. And I'm gonna probably just save this servograph. Yeah, see, there was the your same old defect stuff. I'm gonna save that one as is as well. And that should be it. Okay, don't need those guys. So everything else here was stuff that I did alter, so I can dump those. And dump those. So I'll put this together with the original 2010 photos that I have somewhere here. I actually have them in a whole folder with other Paoli stuff. So I'll find a way to put all that together, and I'll get it up online, and I'll redo those pages. So anyway, let me see if they have any questions here. Yes, Paoli is still open as of now. Like I said, it's open. It's now in its 224th year, and like I said, I believe that it is the oldest operating tower in the country. It's going to be, yeah. I mean, when they say not for long, it is not having an imminent closure date. They're currently working on thorn, but again, it's not like, hey, everything's ready to. Like, it's creeping along. PennDOT has to pay for this all. So as money becomes available, it happens. It's not like Amtrak sitting there on its stimulus funds going, all right, we're going to close these towers. It is purely a PennDOT call. As PennDOT gets grant money, they do more work. If COVID makes them have to redirect their grant money to something else, then this thing gets frozen in time some more. What's the nice shirt? Is that the guy there? Oh, yeah. I think I know who that is in terms of by reputation, not name. There was a specific operator. I don't know if it was him or not. There was a specific operator that did a lot of crazy stuff on the overnight shift. This specific operator threw one of the chairs down the Paoli stairwell in a fit of rage at one point. He thought his girlfriend was cheating on him, and he snuck out a thorn and went to try to go catch her and just left his job. And like they had to send a cop out to figure out what happened. Did I say 200? I said 126. Opened in 1896. Anyway, yeah. So, yep, that's good. I said I'll get these kind of together. I don't know why I was missing some of the photos. Here in this original batch, just to go over anyone who missed it. Let's just see what I was missing. I'll go all the way to the beginning. Nope. So some of these are from different trips. Got these nice, cool, like, night ones in 2010, 9, whenever. Yep, that's all I got. I'm missing that matters. Yeah, this, that. I had one additional one that's just sort of out of nowhere. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. It was in a totally different time. I think someone went out and took a picture of it for me. These are just all other Paoli pictures. Oh, yeah, remember that one I said it was an old-style dwarf signal? It got replaced some point before, around a few years after that. The old-school one got replaced by the new-school one. When was I there in a snowstorm? You can see how, yeah, this is... There it is. Yeah, like... Yeah, I don't know what's up with that or this. Oh, that's from the original set when they weren't done very well. Anyway, if you're interested in the power board, check out the Wikipedia page for Amtrak's 25 hertz. Let me see if I have it pulled up. Amtrak's 25 hertz power system. I don't know where the annotated one is on my local file system. Sorry for the times. If anyone has any questions, throw them out. I'm gonna wrap things up here. 1 second. Here we have Amtrak's. Here's the thing that someone annotated for me. Yeah, you can just see all the stuff, and it's neat because it's a Paoli. Although Thorn had Thorn and Overbrook and a bunch of other towers would have control units for sectionalization switches, Paoli, as I'm aware, is the only one that actually had the control of the 132, 138 kV high tension for its local substation. Just with how it came in with Paoli, when the 1915 electrification, there was no power dispatcher. It was 1915. Everything had to be controlled locally from the towers. It's neat how this is just sort of sitting in the corner of the tower. It's really, really cool that it just sort of sits there. So they did this whole 1915 stuff. And when they put on the 1937 extension, I guess they just had to put it into Paoli Tower. It's out of service, like I said, but it's just cool that you don't see this stuff. This is all in Harrisburg, New York, Baltimore, or Philly. Paoli is the only tower that actually had 132 kV switch gear. I think, sort of power gear in the tower, and it's just it just gives you a cool brief synopsis of how a typical Amtrak later model substation worked. You had the two high tension circuits. You had a tie between them that was often not activated but could be activated. Grounds, transformers, bus ties. It's all really neat. You guys can take a look at it. So let me see if any questions have appeared. All right, no questions. I'm gonna head off. Thank you very much for attending. I'm gonna get this, get all this stuff up, and we'll see what I can do from there. So. I'll have a great day, and I will be back likely for another session. It might be a 2-day, it might be a 1-day. I am not entirely sure. In 2 weeks for President's Day weekend, and that's going to be Sunday to Monday, maybe Saturday to Sunday to Monday. So we'll see. Have a great day, and stay safe out there. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I've heard both. Oh, and by the way, if anyone's from the NRHS chapter and heard this through Dave Homer, raise your hand in the chat just so I get a sense of who